What is type 1 and type 2 error? So this is very important concept. Even in machine learning we have something like this, okay? So what is type 1 error and what is type 2 error? Rejecting a null hypothesis when it is actually true, that is called type 1 error. And accepting the null hypothesis when it is actually false. Look here, this is a type of decision. Look at this table. Please concentrate. It is, if you concentrate it, you can quickly understand here. So this is the type of, let's say you conduct the statistical test. As per that, it tells you to reject the null hypothesis. Because the p-value is less than alpha, you reject the null hypothesis. Your test tells. But what is the reality here? Your null hypothesis is actually true, which means actually a person is a good person, but you are rejecting the null hypothesis, saying that he is not a good person. If you reject the null hypothesis, what is your alternative? Your null hypothesis, let's say your null hypothesis is a good person. If you reject it, actually say this is as per the book. If you go and inquire the police department, this person, a person by name of John, as per the police record, John is a good person, is an innocent. And you are assuming that, but you do not know what is John is all about. Is innocent or criminal? Your null hypothesis, you are assuming that he is innocent. Well, alternatively, is not innocent. That means a criminal. But this is the reality. As per the police record, he is innocent. Your null hypothesis is true. But as per your statistical test, you are rejecting the null hypothesis. This is called your type 1 error. Okay. This is also called as false positive. False positive. Positive, no? John is, let's say you want to conduct the test to test whether a person is criminal. That means positive, okay? Your objective is reject the null hypothesis and you want to find out, but it is false positive. You are wrongly rejected the null hypothesis. As per the police records, is the null hypothesis true only. The null hypothesis is true, but you rejected the null. That is called your type 1 error. The type 2 error is the opposite. Accepting the null hypothesis when it's actually false. See, as per the police record, let's say, another guy, Chris, is a criminal. Okay. But in this case, the null hypothesis is you're assuming that he is a innocent. Actually, as per the police record, he is a criminal. But your null hypothesis, you are assuming that he is innocent. But as per your test, as per your test, you are in this case you are failed to reject the null hypothesis. See, in our life, right? Even in our day-to-day life, sometimes in certain things, right, we have to reject certain proposals in our life. Listen very carefully. Certain proposals we have to reject. Certain proposals we are not supposed to reject. Actually, something is good. I rejected the proposal. Later on, you will repent. But there are certain the proposals are actually, it is not good. Okay, but you accepted it. Later on, you repent. In both the cases, you repent. Right? So the one end is, if you reject the good proposal, business proposal, you just think, right? In that case, oh man, that's highly profit yielding project. The return on investment is too high in that project. Mistakenly rejected it. Type 1 error, I made it, man. Type 2 error, no. In this case, right, I wrongly accepted a nonsense project. Now I'm suffering. Customer is not at all making the payment. We are working in day and night. Even the case of marriage proposal, right? So I have accepted a wrong person mistakenly. I made a type 2 error. That is called type 2 error. So another example is, I wrongly rejected a good person. I made a type 1 error. Hope we understood. Dhanraj, right? Jaychand, Jayaprasad, and others, right? So type 1 error and type 2 error, if you make it, definitely you will repent. But, there are scenarios, you make the correct decision. That is called your true negative. And here, this is called your false negative. Type 2 error, sorry, the correct decision in this case. So here, the actually is a good person, right? So in this case, yeah, so here the correct decision, right? Yeah, correct decision. In this case, he is actually not a good person. Hence, you rejected the null hypothesis. You made the correct decision. And if you look at here, in this case, he is actually a good person. You are accepting the null hypothesis. You made the correct decision. Right? If you look at in this diagonal, you have taken the correct decision. In this diagonal, you made the wrong decision. Type 1 error, I lost a good person, right? And friend, even take your friend, right? I lost a good person. Type 2 error is, I mistakenly chose a wrong person in my life. This is a shortcut way of remembering it, okay? Let's look at one example for this to further understand it. Sorry. Let's take a look at this example. An innocent person is sent to jail. What is the null hypothesis? The person is innocent. What is the alternative hypothesis? The person is guilty. You want to test, no, he's not an innocent, he's a guilty. But here, actually, the person is innocent only, okay? And what is the actual result? The person is actually innocent. What is the outcome? But is sent to jail because your test statistic values less than your critical value, it is following the rejection, you put him in jail. You made a mistake here. The null hypothesis is actually true, he's an innocent person. But you accepted the alternate hypothesis and considered him as a guilty and sent him to jail. You have falsely rejected the true null hypothesis. Hence, it is called type 1 error. So in this case, what is the impact? You are punishing an innocent. It is also unacceptable, right? Take, for example, in the case of cancer. Actually, a person is healthy person. Just because your statistical test, if you are sending him into hospital for treatment, unnecessarily he has to undergo the chemotherapy. The impact is very, very high in the real world scenario. Next example is a manager sees some evidence that stealing is occurring, but lacks enough evidence to conclude the theft, and he decides not to fire the employee. The null hypothesis, the employee is not stealing. That is what the null hypothesis. But the manager has seen some evidence is there. But as per the rule, null hypothesis, you are concluding that you are just thinking that the person is not stealing. Good person. Alternative is no, he is stealing. The actual result is the employee is actually stealing, but manager does not have enough confidence to conclude the theft. Hence, he did not fire the employee. Fire the employee is send him out. He could not send him out. Here, what is the error here? The null hypothesis is that he is not stealing is falsely accepted due to lack of evidence. Falsely, we are accepting the null hypothesis because we don't have enough evidence. Okay. In this case, the employee is not stealing is the null hypothesis. It has to be rejected. In this case, it has to be rejected. When we are supposed to reject, we did not reject. Whereas when we are not supposed to reject, you rejected it in this case. In this case, you rejected it mistakenly, but you're supposed to reject. Here you're not supposed to reject. No reject, reject. But when we are not supposed to reject, you rejected it. That is what type 1 error. When you are supposed to reject, you did not reject it. So you made a type 2 error. So you failed to reject the false null hypothesis. In this case, the null hypothesis, the employee is not stealing, is a false null hypothesis. Hence, it is called your type 2 error. So hope you understood what is type 1 and type 2 error. When I explain the model classification related metrics. I'm going to talk about this again. Don't worry.